Hey everybody, welcome back to the Common Woman Podcast.
Yay! We gotta get the applause back.
I know. I like the applause. I miss
them. You have to do it on your phone. We'll be a little bootleg.
Yeah, we could do it. But this is episode 6. We're up to 6 already.
Wow.
And we're excited because we have our first official guest, Natasha.
Yay! Hi. Hello, everybody.
She is one of our good friends, and we're excited to have her here. She has a lot of great things to say. We have wonderful conversations when we hang out. She also gave us the brunch last weekend that we told y'all about. So, dope chick right here.
Great time.
Such a good time.
Lots of Beyonce.
Yes. Yo, Beyonce has you feeling like you can do anything.
Superwoman.
We got up there and was trying to do the dances with her, and we was looking real crazy. But it was fun.
I had way too many margaritas to be up there doing anything.
Yo, did I tell you I was sore after that? Like, I was sore from like that little bit of dancing.
That's so bad.
How badly in shape, out of shape I am. It's crazy. It's crazy. But Natasha, welcome to the Common Room.
Thank you for having me.
I've been dying to say that to somebody.
I have been listening and loving every single episode. Every single episode. You guys are doing such fantastic things, and I'm so excited to be a part of this today.
Yeah. Thank you. We appreciate the support. So today, let me introduce everyone.
Hello.
We introduced Natasha.
Yes.
As you know, I'm Cortnie. I'm joined with my amazing bestie,
Melissa.
And we got Babe in the corner.
Hey.
And one of our friends is here.
On the sideline.
On the side.
He's hiding.
D-Wayne.
Yes.
He's off camera. He's off the mic, but we're going to try to rope him in here.
Yeah, that's my babe.
Yes. I didn't want to introduce. I figured you want to say it. So.
Claiming that already. Dang.
Yes, we got 2 babes in the house. All right. The babe corner over there.
Dwayne.
What did you say, babe?
Babe number 2.
Dwayne, man. Today I should have worn my man shirt. Man.
So today we are going to talk about dead end relationships.
Yes.
And then we're going to get into another topic that's been kind of hot out there in social media world. We'll talk about that later.
The internet is a cold place.
It is. It really
is. It is.
It's crazy.
It is. Mm-hmm. Twitter's entertaining as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
but you know what?
Cold.
I'm sorry to admit, but I don't really know how to use Twitter.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not that good at it either.
Yeah.
But I have a girlfriend who is, and she's constantly retweeting stuff, and so I'll get it through there.
I don't even know how to retweet.
I'm not good with it either.
I don't know how to do anything on Twitter.
I don't even have the Twitter app on my phone, to be honest. But like, if the president tweets something that's crazy, I'll just Google his Trump's tweets, and they all show up.
Exactly.
Twitter is actually where everything from Instagram comes from. It all starts on Twitter.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it all starts on Twitter.
Oh, see,
But each of them feed into each other.
Yeah.
They do.
See, I thought I was doing something just by being on Instagram, but
that's all I do.
Fail.
I'm behind the times here. Yeah, but I did do a poll on the Common Woman Podcast Instagram page asking if you have ever stayed in a relationship that you knew was not going anywhere. And surprisingly enough, 100% said yes.
All the time.
100%.
100%.
Wow.
I don't know why I thought maybe it would be less, but we've all done it.
Well, we've all dated and failed.
Yeah.
Or dated and it just didn't work out for one reason or another. So I guess, not everyone is with their first love.
Yeah.
Their first crush, their first sweetheart. So a lot of us have experiences, Yeah.
Yeah. I found it interesting because I asked also, what are the reasons why, you decided to stay when you knew it wasn't going to work out?
Good question.
And some people said, bear with me.
I chimed in on that one too.
Yeah, I saw you chimed in, so I chimed in. So some people said, my sister-in-law, Sue, She said,
No
love,
names.
hope. Why? I won't name everybody, but I just wanted to shout out my sister-in-law, Sue, in
Hey,
case she's
Sue.
listening. Love you, girl.
Hey.
What, you trying to get on the show now?
She, we had her.
I think
in
I
mind.
met her before.
Yeah.
She kind of like woohoo.
Yeah.
That kind of person, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, she be fun.
Kinda,
She would be good. She would be good. And she also looks exactly like Babe.
She
So if you want to
does.
see what my husband looks like, we'll have Sue
That's
on.
true.
And you could,
The
She just has
female
long hair and
version.
boobs.
and dimples. She has the best dimples in the world.
Sorry, babe.
I don't know how I should feel about that, though.
What? I mean, it's all love. You know how I feel about dimples. But anyway, she said love, hope, children. That's a good one.
Wow.
Yeah. I could definitely see someone staying in a relationship because, the kids.
Yeah.
That's a hard decision to make, to leave when you have, children together.
Or
Sure.
hopes in having a child.
Yeah. Ooh. That one hit home.
Wow.
So someone else said hoping the person would change and not wanting to be alone. That's another big one. I feel like I know that's what I did. I didn't want to be alone.
For
so,
sure.
We all do that repeatedly.
Oh yeah.
Or at
Easy,
least
easy.
at some point throughout life, we've done it.
Mhm.
Several times.
And then Mel, what
All
did you
35
say?
years. What?
And then you said that.
What did I say? Hoping I said hoping he would change his mind and want to commit because clearly I'm great. And he will come to his senses.
Facts on facts.
But that didn't happen, but that's okay.
She said clearly I'm great. I love that.
I mean, clearly.
Well, yes. Yes.
I think everybody would agree with that.
I
Mel.
think so too.
Yeah.
He just wasn't ready for me. It's all right.
I
That's
said.
I ain't for everybody. Babe, I swear.
What did he say now?
he does these little moaning things like to mess it.
What you mean?
Cut it. Cut it.
She's gonna get you one day.
One day,
she's gonna
seriously.
get you.
You need
We gotta
you need
find
Babe. No sound, no
Exactly.
video.
I was gonna say you gotta find
No
another sound
sound, no
engineer
lights,
and a
no
videographer
video.
before you get him.
Nada. Se acabó.
Babe ain't going nowhere.
Oh, you threw
He ain't
Spanish
going
at her.
He said, you ain't going nowhere. I don't know where you think you're going. Boy, bye.
So I said not wanting to be alone. He was a nice guy, and maybe he'll change later. So the nice guy thing.
Yeah.
That used to get me. Like when I was dating, there was this guy that I was seeing in college, and he was the sweetest. He was like a Christian. He went to church. Really, really nice dude. But just nothing between us. Like I tried so hard, and there was no chemistry at all. Like, and then I found myself not being attracted to him really. And I'm just like, but I kept dragging it on. And he came to my house one time, and my brother met him, and he was like,
That's not you.
He was like, he has no drive, he has no ambition in life. So like, you need to. And then when someone you care about, like someone you love, like your brother or your father, if someone says something bad, then you're like, oh man, come on, why you had to say that? It just adds to it. So
Well, thank God for fathers and brothers that
For
are
real.
willing to speak up and let you know that ain't the one.
yeah, because I probably would have kept dragging it
I
on.
hate to say it, I always run from really nice guys.
Do you?
We don't vibe well. And
Is it
clearly,
because you want the bad dude?
I don't even think that I want it. That's just what I vibe
Dwayne's over
with.
here like, amen, brother.
He knows his friend.
That's what I vibe, but that's what I vibe with, and that's what I have more in common with than the really nice guy. Like I'm not trying to go ghost hunting and stuff.
But what?
Ghost hunting.
You did not say ghost hunting.
Oh my goodness.
But what's wrong with the good guy though?
She's not trying to go to Comic-Con.
I don't want to do any of
Yeah,
that.
but hold
That's
up.
Insulting
not-
to
But
a
hold
lot
up,
of people.
though.
A lot of guys I
But
know.
hold up though. He
Even-
can have some skills though.
Oh.
What kind of skills, baby? What you talking about?
Let's just say.
I feel like Babe is defending it
Let's
because he
just
thinks
say-
he's one of the good guys. You've
Let's just
transformed
say-
into a good guy, but I'm sure you weren't always the good guy. So let's be clear, babe.
Shots fired.
That's it. I'm cutting off your mic.
I vouch for you, babe. You are one of the good
Why?
guys.
Thank you.
He
I
was
vouch
with
for
you,
him,
girl.
too.
And you got some tricks.
Word?
Oh.
I
Say
don't
it.
know. I
Say
don't know if
it.
I want to know this
Say
much.
See, I need the horn.
Oh,
TMI.
what kind of horn?
Sorry.
Yo, it's better than that boom y'all had last time.
Sound like a a bird dying. All right.
It's so funny.
So where were we?
I don't know what just happened.
Meanwhile, back
We
at
were
the
at
we were
nice guys.
we were on the Instagram.
Yeah,
But you were talking about how you run away from nice guys.
I like nice guys, but I don't want to say this and be mean, but
Just say it.
maybe more so the corny guy.
Okay,
I can't do the corny guy.
I feel you on that.
I couldn't do that either.
Yeah.
Ugh.
You gotta have some personality. We gotta have something in common.
Swag.
Girl.
Swag. We need a man
Yes.
that has a little bit of swag.
Yep.
All right, I hear you.
The
there.
corny
I hear
ones
you
don't
there.
have swag.
Yeah.
They don't
Yeah.
have no swag.
Yeah.
And I feel
I've
like
tried to create the swag. You can't
No, you
create
tried
it.
to create it.
I did.
Manufacture that.
Like 2 to 3 times I have tried to create the swag
Ah,
and it was a fail.
What did you do?
no.
I
Yeah, tell it.
Good question, babe. Good
Dress.
question.
I dress.
So you
Oh, yeah, okay. I know what you're talking
coach
about.
on haircuts.
I know exactly what you're talking
I
about.
try to, just clean it up.
Yeah.
You try to put
But
lipstick
that's
on that
visual
pig.
swag. What about personality swag?
That comes with vibing off me, hopefully.
Yeah,
Because I'm cool as hell.
And modest as well.
Yeah, he's gonna keep calling you out though.
Oh my goodness.
We're having a good time. It's all right.
Yeah. You know, I think that in my 20s, I was probably a little bit more willing to dress and fix up and prop up.
Yeah, we had time
a
for
guy
it.
with
Prop up.
potential.
Love
Yeah.
Seriously.
A guy with potential. I'm sorry.
And
is
you know
real. It's
what's
real.
funny is that was part of my deprogramming. I had to stop looking at potential and start asking myself, if I can accept this man the way he is right now, should he never change? Then I can rock with it. But if I'm
Preach.
trying to change something about him, if I'm trying to make him fit the image that I think that my man should have, then he's probably not the one.
Girl, we gotta isolate that.
Yo, you wrote that down?
We gotta isolate that sound bite. Yo, that. Dwayne is taking notes.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna
That's
remember
very
that.
true. That's very true, Natasha, because there's a lot of women out here trying to do exactly that.
Yes.
They find someone and they're trying to mold them and make them into something that they're not. And we really need to look at people for who exactly that they are. And they will show us who they are, and they'll tell us who they are.
when they show us, we need to believe them.
Yes.
Because oftentimes they show us who they are and we kind of overlook it. Like, no.
Rationalize it.
Yeah. Because of the various reasons that the woman posted on that Instagram.
Exactly.
The possibility of a family.
Yeah.
Faith, hope, love, not wanting to be alone. You know, I think that there's
Starting
a lot.
over is always a
Yeah.
big pain in the butt.
It
so
is.
You want to just always try to make it work just to not have to start from scratch.
Especially now, like
Yeah.
at the age that we're at.
Yeah.
You know,
Sure.
I can imagine it would be even more scary and difficult.
It
Because
is.
when you're younger, I feel like when you're younger,
Facts.
you're in more situations where you can meet more like dudes, like you're in the clubs or
Yeah.
you know what, you're in school or whatever. But like now when you're older, it's like there's the dudes at work or like maybe you'll happen to run into somebody when you go out, you know what I'm saying?
Or
like,
you gotta force
Yeah.
yourself out with your girlfriends, even if you don't feel like it, when you much rather be at home on Friday night in your bed watching
Yeah.
Netflix. You know? But how else are you gonna meet people? Well, there's
That's
always
with that whole online
Online.
thing.
Yeah, but that's
I
where you
know.
meet the psychos.
Yeah.
that's where you meet the John Michaels.
though. Yeah.
For real.
With the no
For
slash
real.
3 kids.
Yes.
Oh, God. Yeah.
0 to
Yeah,
3.
pretty much.
Mhm.
Pretty much.
The game now is different. So, I
It
mean,
is,
back in the
though.
days, you could do different things like you guys were saying. But now,
That's what I said.
you
It's not
don't
the
even know what's a
same.
dude or a chick.
Exactly. Wait, what?
You don't want to go there.
Yeah.
I was
You don't
like,
wanna
wait,
go
what? I'm not even mad at that statement.
Now you gotta ask
Not even mad at
what,
that
what
statement.
gender you are.
Basically,
Where, what do you
need
identify?
a
What do you
card.
identify
What do you
with?
identify
card.
as?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I hear that.
Damn.
It's crazy though. It's crazy. I do not envy single people nowadays.
It's hard. It's hard. I mean, I'm in a relationship now, but I'm still a single woman. You know, I'm not married yet.
You felt that, right?
Whoa.
You felt that, right?
Damn.
We were just watching Beyonce put a ring on it.
Okay.
Boom shot.
He's over here whispering to Babe, like, help, help.
What? They hit you dead on, homie.
He's like, you can't turn her mic off real quick.
You guys' sound effects are horrible. Blub, blub. Blub, blub.
Well, he and I have been in it for a little over a year now.
It's been that long?
Yeah.
There's history also, y'all. This ain't just a scratch year situation.
But let me just tell you, whenever I ask her, how's Dwayne?
She's doing it right now.
Face lights up. She's like, she gets it's so cute. I love to see how happy you are.
Thank you.
Good job, Dwayne. Good job.
Yeah, but prior to him, I have had my fair share. He knows all about it. We talk a lot.
You need another shot, bro? You good?
He's good. So prior to him, many relationships. I'm a woman of a certain age, over 35, but eternally 28.
Amen.
I feel the same way. I feel the same way.
And so speaking of dead end relationships, so the last guy that I dated was a really nice man. I mean, he wined and dined me, and we spent a lot of time together, and we went on nice trips and just had an amazing dating experience. I'll say. In the beginning, when we were first getting to know each other, he's a divorced guy and he already has 2 sons. And he was the single dad, you know. He was raising his sons Monday through Friday, and they would go be with his ex-wife on the weekend. So he was knee-deep in homework.
Yeah, he was the most hands-on.
Hygiene and looking a man in the eye when they're talking to you, like really trying to raise these young men.
That's beautiful.
To be men. So with that said, he recognized how hard parenting is.
Especially pretty much alone.
Yeah. And when we first met, he said that he didn't want any more children. And I, at the time, and even now, date with intention. So I date with the intention of, I want marriage and a family. I don't want it tomorrow, but I want it at some point. And I want to know that that's what we're working towards.
Exactly.
If it's not an option, it was nice meeting you.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
So he made it clear that he didn't want any more children. He said, no more kids. And I said, okay, well, this isn't going to go very far. But I'll have some fun with him, go on a couple more dates, and, you know, just hang out a bit. And I'll be dating other people. So that's exactly what I was doing. I was dating other guys. And he kind of caught wind of that, you know. There was one night that he called, and I didn't respond or call him back until 3 or 4 hours later. And he straight out asked me, were you on a date? And I said yes.
Okay.
I told him the truth. I wasn't
as you should
in a committed relationship.
Exactly.
And we ended up having a discussion about, well, why am I seeing other people? Because he and I were having such fun together.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you're a great guy and we're having a lot of fun, but you and I don't want the same things. And he said, well, what do you mean? You've made it clear that you don't want any more children, and I want marriage and a family.
Yeah.
And I've always been clear about that. So he says, no, you misunderstood me. You know, I've met so many women in the last few years that they just want a baby. So I just felt like I needed to say no more kids because I didn't want to feel that pressure. But of course I would want more children, just not right now, but maybe sometime in the future. Sure, of course. So I said, okay, well, that's not the impression that you gave me. He said, no, you misunderstood. So
did you believe him when he said that?
I believed him. I believed him because we did have a connection. And he said, I don't want you to see anyone else. I want it to be just me and you.
Okay.
And from that moment on, we were exclusive. Okay. So, again, really nice relationship, a lot of quality time. Babe, cover your ears, a lot of sex.
That was for babe number 2.
Babe number
2. We traveled together and we had a really nice time. So the last trip we went on, he took me to his home country. He wasn't from the U.S. and introduced me not only to his family here in the U.S., but his family abroad. And so I saw it as a sign like, you know what? Things are starting to really come together and they're starting to get serious. So let me just check in with him to make sure that we're on the same page. This was about 2 years later. And I said to him on the flight back to the U.S., I said, you know, we talked about children and we talked about marriage and those kind of things, but we kind of talked about it vaguely. And I feel like we're at this point now where I'd like to start planning for that to happen if that's going to happen here. And he said, okay. And I said, well, I kind of get the sense from you that I'm not really sure where you are as far as another child is concerned.
What was it that you were feeling that gave you that inclination?
Well, I would often refer to when I become a mother in conversation. And not that he had a look, but there wasn't much engagement when I would say that, you know.
You caught a vibe.
I did catch a vibe. And I've always remained clear about the fact that motherhood and wife is what I want to be. And so I never changed my language around that. So I never talked about it in terms of when he and I had a child or when he and I got married. I always said when I. So maybe I knew. But, you know, there's a lot of self-doubt that comes into play when you're in a relationship, especially with a good guy.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't an asshole. He wined and dined me. I could call him up right now and say, I'm coming over, and it wouldn't be a problem.
Whoa. I'm just trying to look out for you, homie.
And vice versa, you know, like there was never any thought of
right now.
You're so late.
What, right now?
He was.
Yo, I tried.
He's so late on that delayed reaction.
Oh my gosh!
It's the satellite
I think
feed,
he's
y'all.
trying to block out some of what I said. But
so there was no bad blood.
No,
like you guys were,
no.
Cool.
We were cool. We were good. We probably had disagreements like less than a handful of times. Like it was all good. I wasn't in love. I was in strong like, but I was not in love even after 2 years of dating.
How did you know that? Like what was that feeling like?
Well, you know, I was talking to one of my girlfriends at the time who knew me really well. And I said, you know, I don't think I love him. And she said, well, you spend a lot of time with him and you kind of are happy to be with him. So I think you do. So then I was like, well, maybe I do then. But I never felt like that feeling.
Yeah.
You know, I felt good about him. Don't get me wrong. But I didn't feel like I love this man.
Right.
I didn't feel that, you know. So maybe that was a sign too.
Yeah.
Who knows? After 2 years.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
For sure.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
I'm so glad you don't have a mic.
Oh, me too. Me too.
Come over here, man.
Babe's gonna hook you up.
So that was on the flight back, and you know, I said to him, I'm gonna ask you to do something that I would describe as love, and I'm gonna ask you that if you don't want any more children and you don't see a future in that way with me, to let me know. I said, this is great. What we have is really good, but this is my life, and I'm not choosing to spend it in this way if it's not going to give me the things that I want out of life.
Yeah.
So try not to only think about yourself and how good this relationship is, but think about me and be honest with me.
Mm-hmm.
And
I love the way you communicate.
Thank you. Thank you.
Girl, I'm over here like, what? Okay.
So he said, okay. But he never said anything else. So I knew that this was not.
He just said, okay.
He said, okay.
And that's it.
Yes. And we left it there. So
that kind of gave you your.
It kind of gave me my indication. But I said, I'm going to give him time to process things.
Mm-hmm.
I think that with men, we have to, as women, be patient and not be all over them for an answer right now.
Mm-hmm.
But allow them.
Yeah, they need a process.
Allow them a moment to process it and then double back. So my birthday was coming up. And so I knew that he wasn't going to want to talk to me about it. I see the eyes. Don't worry. We'll come to it.
That's an interesting comment. I was just expecting them to chime in and say something.
I'm waiting for my time.
Okay.
He has no problem chiming in.
That's it.
Yeah.
We process it.
So long story short, my birthday was coming. I knew he wouldn't want to talk about it beforehand because we had plans for my birthday and all of that. And so my birthday is October 29th.
Okay.
And we had a really nice time celebrating my birthday that weekend. And then on Halloween, October 31st, I said to him,
You weren't gonna let it go that long. Hell
no.
It weighs on us.
I said we had a conversation on the flight back from overseas, and we have not discussed it, and it's now been a month. I gave him a
You gave him a good amount of
time.
I
love it.
I'd have gave him a week or two, and that's it.
Shy of 30 days. Okay, just shy of 30 days.
That's enough time. Absolutely.
But you should have at least waited until after the holidays.
No. We weren't going to do that.
The free gift.
Another year wasn't going to hit.
I was about to say, hell no.
No.
Spending no unnecessary money on you.
I was ready to pull the Band-Aid off because I had already in my mind said, all right, this is going to go one or two ways.
Mm-hmm.
Either he's going to say, I want to give you what you want and we're going to move forward and plan a future together. Or he's going to say, I don't want any more children and I'm going to have a decision to make.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what happened. So he was honest. He said, I've been kind of sick about this conversation. I feel like you kind of put me in a corner.
Yeah, but you've always been.
No, you had 2 years. Then you changed your mind. So, sir, bye.
So he said,
he got hit with the sir too.
I hit him with the sir
bullshit.
all day. So he said, parenting is hard, and I have these 2 boys here, and I'm doing my best, and I just can't see myself starting over. And I said, you know what? I respect that, and I appreciate your honesty. And I had my things because I would go and spend the night.
Mm-hmm.
And so I grabbed my stuff and I said, can you walk me to the car? And he looked like
you took your stuff.
Yeah, that was it. That was a wrap.
Gangster.
That was a wrap.
What? And so he said, what are you doing? I said, let's just go talk outside.
Oh, he thought you was going to drag this out.
So I took him outside and I said, this has been an amazing 2 years. I've had so much fun and you're such a great guy.
Thanks for the memories.
Ladies.
But
I gotta make space for babe number 2.
Listen, and the clock is ticking. Okay.
Girl.
I said, but this is my life and I'm not willing to let go of the dream of being a wife and a mother for anyone.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Do you feel like I wonder if he was just so amazing to try to get you to sacrifice?
maybe he thought that that's what he was going to do. Like, wine and dine me and
Oh,
woo me over
yeah.
2 years.
So, like,
and
he was purposely doing all
like
that.
get you to
stuff.
like really fall so in, because this can
That
be
you
your
was-
life. You just have to sacrifice
Yes.
the kids. I don't
But
think
you know what?
the marriage would have been off the table, but the kids would have been off the table.
You're probably right, because I know that there's a lot of people who do that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
women and a lot of men who sacrifice things that they want in
Yeah.
order to be with the person they think they want to be with, and then they end up being depressed, and it's just not good.
It's
It's
resentment.
not good.
Yeah,
There's
also-
resentment there, and
there's
it's
another factor
beautiful
too.
that
This
you went
guy
through.
basically, I mean, he was a businessman, so he made a lot of good choices, and he was a millionaire. So like, I was walking away from basically, I mean, he didn't have $1 million in the bank, don't get me wrong, but in assets, he had that. You know what I'm saying?
That's important
So
to mention.
I think that he was looking like, I'm hot shit. I'm driving this Benz. I'm
I think he
taking
put
her
that work
out.
in.
He didn't
you know,
think that
work
she was
in.
gonna leave.
Yeah, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So I that day walked away, and he even at one point said, "Is this how you're gonna do it? This is how you're gonna do it." And I was like, "Yeah, this is how I have to do it because I have to bet on me."
Yep.
And he said, "Well, I told you from the beginning."
Oh, so now he's gonna bring it back to the beginning.
Yeah,
But
I told you from the beginning that I didn't want kids.
Those are those technicalities.
Okay, that always
Come back.
come back,
Mhm.
even when they change their tune.
Exactly.
And so I had to
probably forgot about
promptly remind him that
Yeah.
he changed his tune.
They caught amnesia for a minute. They always catch
Promptly reminds
amnesia.
him.
Yeah.
But he was like, "I said that. Me?
Oh, he played the amnesia role.
That's what I'm saying. They do that.
Mm.
Oh, boy.
Well, that day I left and I didn't look back. And shortly thereafter,
Look, see, there it is.
There it is. There it is.
That's the glow
I was
that
like,
happens.
oh, boy.
Beams from ear to ear. It's so cute.
listen,
But you know what?
a couple weeks later, somebody heard that Natasha was single again.
No. You might have been baby
And he
number
was
two.
like, "Oh, I'd really like to hang out. I've had such a hard day. I could really use a drink." Yeah.
And then he never left.
No.
I know.
I
know about
very
Dwayne.
true.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know what?
That's right.
I'm such a strong advocate for that, and I just really love that story that you shared because I think it's so beautiful that you knew what you wanted and you stood behind that.
She put herself first.
Yeah.
You put yourself first, and it's so important. And whenever you're in a situation
hard
or
to
in a
do.
relationship where you know it's not going anywhere, it's hard to make that decision to leave.
Sure.
And whenever I talk to people about that, like when they're like trying to decide whether they want to leave or if they want to stay, I'm always like, look, you don't want to just stay here because you're blocking your blessing right now.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen.
That's always the
A lot of
unknown.
people, that's the unknown. But a lot of people think that when you get out of that relationship, you're going to have to start over and it's going to take forever for this man to come or whatever.
It might.
But when you
It
do
might
the right
not.
thing, when you do the right thing and you make the right choices, then like that,
Yeah.
things happen. Things fall into place real fast. And you're a testament to
Well,
that.
you know, I think that there was a lot to mourn, similar to what you said about breaking up with the last guy. You know, just did I make the wrong choice?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he was such a great guy. No one has ever treated me this way. I've never had to leave a non-asshole. Like, I've never had to walk away from a dude that was good as far as, like, treated me well, gave me attention, gave me affection. You know?
That's hard.
I've always had to leave assholes, and that's hard, too. But
Yeah.
to leave a good guy,
Yeah,
It
but
makes you
weren't-
question yourself.
You weren't getting anything out of it. So it
that's
doesn't make
true.
sense.
And how good was he if he was willing to mislead me for
That's true.
Right.
2 years and
That's
take
That's right.
That's true.
2 childbearing years, 2 juicy, oozy years. But you know what? You know
Hindsight
what?
is 2020.
Hindsight is 2020, and I feel like I'm stronger for it. I'm wiser for it. I've gone through some other doozies of relationships, but this was the first time that I was not. I knew in my mind I wasn't going to settle for less than a certain type of treatment, and I received that. And I think that sometimes God tests you to see
He does.
how clear you are. And while
This girl better preach.
Yeah, she did. She did
Sorry,
say
I'm
that.
getting excited.
I heard that.
oh, hush, honey,
Yeah.
hush. But I think that sometimes things are brought to you to be a test, to say, all right, what you gonna do with this?
Yes.
Show me how serious you are about that family that you want, and how much you're gonna value it, and how much you're gonna value yourself, because that was another journey that I had to go on.
You are my kindred spirit, Natasha.
Yeah. Seriously.
Oh.
Seriously. So
It's true. It's very true.
there was a lot of good that came out of that experience, and a lot of lessons that I had to learn, and ultimately I got to do what's best for me. I got to do what's best for me and for my life and for what I want out of life. I can't stay in a situation, or couldn't stay in a situation that wasn't going to go anywhere, saying that I want to be a mother and a wife. And I knew that he wasn't going to give me a child. And I don't even know where he stood on marriage. I mean, I thought that he was good with marriage too, but who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
You know?
'Cause he
So
pushed it up, so you
I
never
feel
know.
like if you want certain things out of life, you got to put yourself in the position to get those things.
Exactly.
And that's what I felt I needed to do in that moment, and I did it. And I was proud of myself, but I thought I was crazy.
I'm proud of you too, girl. I'm so proud of you.
I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? What am I doing? Am I starting all the way over now?
That's the part right
Am
there.
I gonna go back online? Like all those things.
That's the part right
and before
there.
I could even get my mind around all of that, here comes this one knocking at my door.
Perfect timing. Perfect
Yes.
timing.
So that's my story.
That's a beautiful story.
It
I really
is.
love
Very
that. It's
inspiring.
inspiring.
Thank
It
you.
is.
It's
Thank you.
inspiring.
It is.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. You know, I still don't have everything that I want yet. I'll be clear, but I do feel like I am primed and positioned.
There's so many subjects on right now.
In their position. That
You know
sounded
what I'm
crazy,
saying?
huh? That sounded a little crazy.
Hush, honey.
Wow.
He's
Don't
trying to
even do
wait.
that.
Trying to wiggle that one in now. Yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to work it in.
Yeah, that was like,
But I don't think that I'm in a dead end situation. I do think
Right.
that, you know, I'm working toward those things that I want out of life, and I hope that he doesn't fuck it up.
Oh. Did y'all see the like beams of fire that shot out of her eyes?
I
when
felt
she said
uncomfortable.
that?
I'm not gonna. I feel like I got a
felt
little
the
burn.
heat.
I got a
the
little
heat,
burn. I was
right?
like, ooh.
yo, I'm behind the lights and I felt that.
Listen, nothing in life is guaranteed, and I
That
think
is
that's a
true.
lesson. Like, you gotta be, like, listen, life throws you ups and downs. You just have to be willing to roll with the punches and get up and dust yourself off and keep trying.
And that's why it's important to communicate.
Yeah,
You know, you found out what you need to find out because you kept communicating about it.
sure.
You know, you checked in.
Yeah,
You felt something and you talked about it. You didn't
and
just
I felt
ignore
like
it.
I deserved the check-in.
Yeah.
I think that sometimes women feel like they don't want to upset the dude, so they're not
They
gonna
tiptoe
ask
around it. Yeah.
the question.
Yeah.
Yes.
But this is my life
Exactly.
Mhm.
too, so I deserve to know where this is going.
Right.
I think that women, we sometimes stay in situations that don't serve us, don't have our best interest at heart.
Yep.
Sometimes these dudes out here will take every bit of juice that we're willing to
As
give
long
them.
as you give it.
As
Yeah.
long as you give it.
Yes.
And then they blame the guy for it. But it's
Yeah.
not his fault. You're giving it. He's going to keep taking it.
Absolutely.
Yo,
Some of y'all
that's
get
true.
skills.
What
That's
did he
true.
say?
He said some of y'all
They
got
got crazy
skills.
skill though.
Oh my God.
Uh,
My babe talks too much
He
sometimes.
does. He does. That's how you know when the alcohol is starting to hit.
Yeah.
Take it away. Take it away. Don't refill it.
Courtney, you said you had a younger a guy from years ago. Everything is a long time ago.
She always starts with that.
But she didn't.
Ever since you called me out, I've been trying to be cognizant of it.
They
and
both
just
Yeah.
say, I dated a guy once.
Yeah.
So Melissa, I'm sure you felt like you've been
Yeah.
in situations that you.
I've been in too many, so we don't have to worry about me
Okay.
today because I'll be giving stories all the time with my raggedy life.
It's not
Go ahead,
raggedy.
girl.
raggedy.
Go ahead, girl.
No, mine is boring.
I'm good.
Mine is, well, I mean, I've told this story already about the guy that when I went to Jersey and I was stuck with. So he was my like boomerang situation. Okay. Where I just kept going back and couldn't going back of it for the punishment for 3 years straight. Wow. And I don't know what it was. I think it was just because I was out of a relationship. Like it was like that high school relationship, and I wanted to replace it, you know, because I was so used to having that someone there. So he was like the next thing, I guess, the next warm body or something. I don't know. And I also think I was a little, you know what I'm trying to say. Because I don't curse, so I can't say it. But I was a little hypnotized.
I was like, what is she trying to say?
I was a little hypnotized.
We gonna call it dematized.
Oh, dematized. You can say the full word. It's just that I don't curse. So dick is not a curse. Oh, I guess not.
There it is. No.
You know, this channel is.
Wait, why is babe number 2 walking towards babe number 1?
Babe number 2 is trying to figure out how he feels.
No. Listen, we are grown women. Everybody has a past.
It's like she said, he knows everything about me. Yeah. So, you know, it's funny because one of Janine, she asked me if Babe gets jealous whenever I share my stories from when I dated, but he don't. Okay.
Yeah, you guys are friends.
I'm confident in my manhood, yo.
You're so annoying.
Did you just bark?
He did. He does that.
I like that though. I like that. Yes, honey, bark.
See that?
Oh Lord! Don't say that because you hype this one up.
This is what happened when we get another man in that.
It's too much. It's too much for me.
I tell you.
Yeah, but I kept going back and going back and going back, and he was very clear about not wanting to be in a relationship, or not really clear, but just gave me those, you know, lines, you know, like, you know, I just got out of a relationship kind of thing, or you know,
let's go with the flow.
I'm just having fun, or whatever.
All right.
You gonna share?
I'm gonna share something. So I was thinking about it today on the way here because I was thinking of different scenarios that I've gone through.
But there's one pivotal one.
I'm not gonna worry about that. But then I was listening to what you said, and I was like, damn it! Like I know my lesson, and I feel like I've semi-learned my lesson, but I haven't completely committed to the process because I tend to. Sometimes guys are like a little safety blanket at times.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And so after I ended it with this guy, I jokingly reached out to another. And I knew I don't want anything with him. I haven't been entertaining really the thought process of anything. I haven't hung out with him. But I entertained the conversation. And he's dragging it through the dirt. But I realized, I was like, why did I do that? Why couldn't I just chill and just do me? Why am I wasting time reaching out to this guy who has made it very clear that he is not in a position to give me a relationship and anything that I want? And I was like, fuck, Natasha.
Why is that?
I don't know, but I know that I did it. I know that I did it. No, I know. I knew. I know what I was. I know what I did. I know what I did, and I'm trying to backtrack on it. I haven't. You know, I haven't. I'm not reaching out. I haven't really been anything. But it's like, why did I do that? Why do I constantly do that?
Do you think it's because there's nobody else in the picture right now?
It could possibly be.
Maybe you just wanted to feel wanted.
I just wanted. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but I know that.
Is it an Ayesha Curry situation?
Doing this.
Sounds a
See how you brought that back?
I wouldn't say we can't really make it connected to that, because if I had a husband, I wouldn't be out here trying to reach out for another dude's attention. But being by yourself, I don't know exactly why I did it, but I know that I constantly block myself. And I've always done it.
What do you mean block yourself?
I always give attention when attention is not needed and it doesn't benefit me. I do this all the time. And it's exactly how you said, like, you could block your blessing. I block myself constantly. And I know that I do it. And so now it's just another work in progress.
Just not ready to be in a relationship right now?
I think I'm just kind of discouraged.
Sure.
I just feel like, it's just been disappointment after disappointment after disappointment, and it's like
that wears on you.
It does. It really does. It really does. It's really hard to fully bounce back constantly when it's one after the next. So, well, work in progress.
Yes.
Work in progress.
The fact that you can even be here and be honest enough and
admit
open
that.
enough to admit that.
You're supposed to drink after you cheers.
It's bad luck if you don't do it.
I stay doing that too.
Listen.
I know you do it to me all the time.
Where's the wine? Melissa's out. Did we bring it downstairs?
It's on this side.
Oh, okay.
It's here.
So somebody mentioned Ayesha Curry.
Hush, honey.
Oh my God.
I be fine then. Go ahead.
We're not there yet.
My goodness, we're gonna get there, babe.
But I still want to talk about like signs that you know that the relationship is a dead end relationship.
Sure.
Yes, please, bartender. So Natasha, you were talking about when you were seeing this guy. You just started to notice that when you would bring up the conversation, you felt something, or he wouldn't really respond.
Yeah.
So like you got to pay attention to that. You got to pay attention to like what they're saying and their actions. Match that up,
Yeah. But I also think too, and I think that this was a test for me in that way. Sometimes women, we can be all over it. Like once we hear a silence or a hesitation, like, so you don't want the same thing.
Why you not saying nothing?
Right. And so I really felt like it was a moment where I had to take a deep breath, bite my tongue, and wait for the appropriate time to ask the right questions. I felt like
that's very key.
It is.
There is a time and a place.
Often we hear single men say that women scare them off because they ask too many questions or put too much pressure about what they want for the future. So sometimes you need to let your intentions be known, and then other times you just gotta be. So I felt like I was giving it room to kind of do that. Like in the beginning, I let my intentions be known, and I was gonna let the relationship be. And I felt like I could give it a little bit of time. I don't know if I needed to give it 2 years, but I gave it some time.
Yeah.
And I think that men now, even in this relationship, sometimes I need to give him a little time to process or time to. Oh my God.
I knew as soon as you addressed him, he was going to be annoyed.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, I think that we it's a balancing act. It's a balancing act. It's hard to know when to put the pressure on and know when to back off.
Yeah.
Men, I think some men, not all, some men need a little bit of pressure. They need a little bit of a push.
But do you think it's good if you gotta push them?
Exactly.
That's a good question.
That's a good point, babe, because I feel like a man who knows what he wants doesn't need any pushing.
No.
That's true.
Doesn't need any encouragement from a woman. They come straight forward with it, and they're like, this is what I want.
Yeah, and that shit is sexy when they do, right?
Yes, it is. But you know what you're saying though about like there's a time and a place and you can't just like throw it all out there and like give them time to process. I think it's important too, like in certain situations, you got to know who you're dealing with. You got to know the person's moods. Not every time is the right time to bring up certain conversations because you might not get the response you're looking to get, or you might not be able to have an honest conversation with them. Like, this is just like a dumb example, but like if he's hungry, I'm not talking to him about anything serious.
Don't talk to me either when I'm hungry.
I think that goes for everybody.
We're not having a rational conversation.
I think it goes for any and everybody.
Yeah.
Well, Melissa's in rare form. When she gets hangry, honey,
What?
What have I done?
Oh, I will say Puerto Rico. Oh.
We're going to have to sidebar this
Yes.
conversation. We're going to have to sidebar this.
Yeah, because I want to hear about that.
I don't fully know what you're talking about, but we're going to talk about this sidebar.
Wow.
On the next podcast.
No, but if you don't immediately recognize that you're in a dead end situation, just pay attention to yourself and how you feel. Like, I know you can attest to this. Like, little things will just start to bother you. Like, every little thing about the person.
Yes.
Will get to you.
When you turn me off, it's every flaw you have, or everything that I don't like is magnified. And all I see is that. Mm-hmm. All I see is everything I hate.
Yeah.
Until I end it. It's gone after that.
Meanwhile,
it's gone.
Before he turned her off royally, it was like, oh, that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, I can look past that.
I can probably live with that.
Yeah.
See how long he drags that.
Yeah. You're willing to make some, concessions.
Yeah,
it's true.
And then when that last straw broke the camel's back, well, I don't know.
I don't like the way he looks no more. Like, why is he dressed like that?
Yes.
Why does he breathe so hard?
You know?
Oh my goodness.
Why he need all that oxygen?
Why is he sweating so much?
Oh,
Nasty.
Just go somewhere with all that breath.
Oh gosh. That is so funny.
You put the F on it, yeah.
Breath. Oh boy.
But most importantly, you don't see a future with them.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't see the future, then it's not going to happen. Move on.
Facts.
Move on. No intimacy. Was that the case for you or no?
No, I mean, there was physical intimacy, but not.
There was no connection emotionally.
There was a connection in that there was respect and there was affection, and we did
surface.
Yeah, I felt like we discussed like current events and stuff like that. And we even debated a little bit about preferences and such. But there wasn't this deep friendship that I have now. You know, like...
There's your props, baby.
Damn.
They're dapping it up over here.
Like, I just sat here and talked about every and anything in front of this man. Whereas the prior guy would have probably felt so insulted.
Yeah.
And...
Ayesha
and perhaps
disrespected.
Honey. And perhaps disrespected about me just talking freely about a past relationship. So I didn't feel like I could fully be me. I felt like I had to behave.
Mm-hmm.
And with my guy, I feel like I can just completely be myself.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I can be who I am, the good,
100%.
the bad, as we had a little while ago. And just the like all of it. I can just be free and be me, and we work it out.
And that's how it should always be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how it should always be.
I don't think I've ever had that.
That sounds nice.
I don't think I've ever had that. I've had...
No, I haven't. I always got to be on behavior.
I've had...
my mouth. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I've had love relationships, but I've never had a love relationship and a friendship in one.
That's deep. That's deep.
That's beautiful. See, right here would have been a nice place for applause. We're just going to have to make it.
Applaud that man. Applaud that man.
All right, enough about him. No, I'm just kidding.
But if you find yourself like struggling to spend time with the person, or you're just not even spending time with them.
Yeah, no, that's a challenge.
Yeah.
I need quality time. I couldn't have even been in that other situation if I wasn't getting quality time, to be honest. Like if you're not available, then I'm not available. Like I'm emotionally shut down if I'm not getting FaceTime.
That I dated, he was so dope. He was vegan.
That
is so key for me.
That was it right there.
That is so key for me though.
He's
like
always
there was
tired.
never an issue going out to eat or
Yeah.
cooking. Like it was nice. was
But those
nice.
things are important.
But he didn't talk.
He had a great business, but he was just too busy. He just
wasn't
didn't
available.
know how to manage, the personal time. And I could deal with not seeing you all the time, but if you don't call and text, like, we have a problem.
Yeah.
Seriously.
He would go like 3 days and be like, "What happened? What's
no,
wrong?"
No.
Yeah.
And then I addressed it, and he
I was
still
gonna
couldn't
say.
fully. He would try, but he would send me the stupidest text, like just little corny comments, and it was like, "But that's not anything. That's not."
Just so he could say,
And
"Look, I did."
Yeah, and I
texted
was
you.
like, "This isn't gonna.
No.
This isn't gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen."
Yeah.
Still missing though. Damn.
It was like that.
Do
Could've
you
been
miss
good.
him,
Wow.
or do you miss what he could have been?
I'm gonna say he was vegan, man.
Yeah,
What's
I
up with
did.
these vegans out here?
All she know is that the man had the same dietary
You know what I'm saying?
needs
Damn,
as her.
you don't understand.
That's it.
See, there's only like 5 of y'all.
That's
so-
Oh,
It
bye.
feels like that, man. It feels like that. I always say that was the best part of that relationship. Well, whatever.
Well, yeah. And that doesn't make a relationship.
I know, but you know,
It was good.
eating is a big chunk
It
of
was
it.
a good because you like to eat.
I like to eat and cook, and he liked my food.
Aw.
They all
Everybody
do, though.
likes
They
your
all-
food.
yeah, they
Your
all
food
do.
is
Yeah.
good, man.
Vegan or not, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, a man loves a home cooked meal. They love it when
Yeah.
a woman is taking care of them
Yeah.
in some way.
Bird.
So. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but ladies, gentlemen, don't stay in a relationship you know that's gonna end. That's not going anywhere because you're really just blocking your blessings. Like I was saying before,
Yeah.
you never know what God has for you outside of that. So take that leap of faith, you know, because staying in the relationship is not going to do anything for you.
And entertaining the duds is not going to
It's not
help.
going to do anything for you.
And
Message received, guys. Message received.
one of my
Let's try
good
again.
friends
We're gonna try again.
mentioned, and I'm a firm believer in this, you have to free yourself up.
Mm-hmm.
You
I
have to
know,
make
yeah.
space
Mm-hmm.
for that other person
Mm-hmm.
to come in.
Mhm.
You know, you can't be filling the time
I know. I hear you.
Mm-hmm.
and
Y'all gonna stop looking at me and addressing me. I know.
oh my
Okay.
God. Well, you know that's why I can talk freely. Some of my friends don't know, so I can't talk freely. But in order to make space for what God has for you, the space needs to be free.
Vacancy, girl.
Yeah.
Vacancy. We doubling up on you.
It's okay. It's okay because I know this. I know this.
You
No,
do
yes.
know this. You
I
do
know
Yes.
this, and I know that I have weak moments, and I have to really
Like we all
focus
do.
right now.
And that's
Yeah.
the
I have
beauty
to
of life.
really focus on leaving it alone.
Mhm.
I do. I have to focus on it. And
But we
so-
have to give you credit though too, because you have grown so much through all your experiences that you've
Absolutely.
been through,
Don't do that.
and you
Stop
keep.
blushing.
No, but I
It's
think
so
it's
Look
a
at
really
that.
big
Look at
deal.
that.
You're so
No,
annoying.
so true.
You know what? As
It's
women,
so
we don't
true.
give ourselves credit
Enough
for that
credit.
because we all go through weak moments.
No,
we
no,
all go
Yes.
through things in our relationships that make us feel a way, and
Yeah.
it's like you recognize the things that you need to change within yourself. You recognize the situations you need to stay away from. Like I know her, like she's one of my best friends, so it's like I know a lot that you've gone through, and just to see where you are today, I think it's beautiful and admirable.
Yeah.
So
Give my love.
you know,
It's so
don't ever
true.
feel like down or anything
I
because you're really
know.
doing really well.
It's every
And I'm proud of
28
you.
days.
I'm proud of you.
Oh, woe is me.
And then, listen, in life, there's always going to be those setbacks too, you know?
for
And
sure.
we recognize them. Sometimes we have a harder time abstaining from them than others. Sometimes we're stronger than other times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, you're being honest. You're being open. You're being real.
Yeah.
The podcast is about, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I know there's women out here that are going through the same thing I am
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
bad habits.
And in you sharing all that,
Bad habits.
in you
but
sharing that, you're helping someone.
And when you
we're
share,
going to come up together.
when you share, I think that you in essence, are holding yourself accountable.
Mm-hmm.
And you're telling friends that are going to hold you accountable, too.
Yep.
So, you know.
And I'm putting my business out there now, so
All
I
right.
have to make sure I come correct. Because I can't lie on this, because she's going to call me out anyway.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm going to call you out, too.
So I'll be honest.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
I did. I had reached out. I felt stupid after. And
You
now
wanted a little entertainment.
But
I
that's
did.
real, though.
I did, but I have to stop
entertainment.
entertaining the bullshit.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he brings.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
But the good thing is that you know that.
I'm seeing it so much
You're
clearer.
aware
Like
of it.
we even had a conversation. I told you this. Where I told you too. Where I took the friend role. We were really having a friendly conversation, and he got really comfortable, and he was telling on himself. And then I was
And you were like, damn.
Master manipulator.
yeah, I did. And then finally I was like, well, that's the effing problem right there. He was like, what? And I was
I thought we were homies, yo.
She hit him with the left.
I did. Because it was like,
She hit him with the left.
because you always, because
that was
guys
dirty,
try to
though.
lie and
That was
fluff,
dirty, though.
you know, nah. You trying to come at me like and lie is dirty.
Nah,
So I
nah,
just,
you're right,
you know, I played
She
the
was
game
really
back.
cute about it though. Like
I
she was
played the-
talking to him like it was like a regular conversation.
was.
Oh, and just getting information. Keep
Yeah, because
getting
we
the
gonna have to
information.
have a do
And
a
it was
topic.
Like,
Yeah,
stabbed him with
we're
it.
She's
gonna-
good at that, too. One question at a time.
That's
So,
it.
You got to talk to them the way you got to text them.
yes.
You
one
cannot text the
question at a
man.
time.
You cannot text the
Facts.
man 3 questions. He will only answer the last.
The last
or the
one.
one that he wants to address. Everything else will go to the
Never
garbage
en-
can. So you have to do
It's
one
true.
thing
You do
at
it all
a
the
time.
time.
He does
One
too.
thing at a
He
time.
does too.
Yes, and I will wait for the answer and then send the second question.
Yup.
I don't play that shit no more. so we have to have a topic, and we have to get a man here to talk about that bench. Because I
Yes.
know about the bench, and he's trying to come off my bench, but I don't clean the bench out. Get off the bench.
Oh, so we
I
have
don't
to
want
talk
you.
about your bench too. Then.
No, but I don't have a bench. That was he.
No.
I unfortunately not him. He was the only one still lingering on the side.
True.
Is that not
True.
true?
That is true.
He was the only
That
one
is
still
true.
lingering on the side.
That is true. What?
What?
Hold on, you said a bench. What we trying to understand the clarification?
No. We'll talk to you sidebar.
That's a whole
This is
nother. That's a
thing.
whole nother
That's a
topic
nother
that we're
thing.
gonna bring up later.
But when I was conversating with him, he was the one that I had the
Did you say
issue.
conversating?
I did.
You did. See, I didn't do it to you this time.
Melissa is here,
Your girl did
ladies
it to
and
you.
gentlemen.
Right next
I got
to
real
you.
comfortable. This is how
Yes.
I talk. I'm
You're
just
supposed to
gonna
be on
be
my
free.
side.
Yes,
That's what
be
it is.
free, be free.
So,
the first
you
3
good, you good.
episodes, I was like, Melissa's so reserved.
I know. It
She's
was-
hearing her voice.
Here,
But
my
now,
girl is here.
now we about to get Mel from the Bronx.
Oh
Yes.
God. Anyway,
We love you.
We
so
do.
we were conversating. This is the one that constantly had chicks calling his phone. And so I said, I had said he wants to hang out. He's probably gonna hear this. Anyway, he wants to hang out, and I was like, you can't try to mess with me. I'm not trying to mess with you like that. So then I can't hang out. I said, hold on. I said, let me ask you a question though. I said, so you have all these homegirls. How are you hanging out with them? I don't hang out with them. Oh, okay. Is it because something might happen between you?
Real sweet about it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. I said, so, all right, so let me ask you this. Are these females kind of on the bench where should you decide that you would like to just pick one up when you're ready, you can do that? And he went around it for a little bit, and then finally he was like, yeah. And I said, well, that's the fucking problem. And that's always been the problem between you and I, because I knew that bench was there and you were not ready to let it go. And hence you are not ready for a relationship.
Hold up.
Uh-oh.
Didn't
Go.
you have a bench too, though?
No, I cleared the bench already. He's the
Temporarily, or
No, the bench was cleared. The bench was
is the
cleared.
bench not clear now?
The bench is clear. That was the only one trying to revive himself. I'm coming back, and I pulled a little bit off the bench. I did with him. I did a little bit with him, but then I didn't really. And I never saw him. I never called him. The contact was always coming from him, and now we're good. We're done. But the door was open. The door was open, and I had admitted that was the whole thing. Fine.
Yeah.
But that was our main issue, and he still. Then he tried to backtrack, obviously, and take the whole thing back.
Of course he did.
But I was like, okay, good. Now I know. it's 100% solidified. You're still in the same place that I left you at like 6 months ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
So
it's very sad.
Was he a good guy? Was he a bad?
he's a not ready guy, so it doesn't matter what kind of guy he is. I'm not trying to wait for you to be ready.
He's not the right guy.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the answer. Not the right guy.
For her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Yeah. You know, I used to strongly believe in having a bench.
Really?
In my 20s. You know, it's funny that I don't have one or don't believe in it now, but
Good
back
answer.
then, no, I was so immature. I was so a firm believer in, you know, having the guy that I had my eyes on, my sights set on, but having a couple backups in case, just in case.
Oh my
He
God.
stays trying to talk about
This
this
is
So
woman.
corny.
Okay, we next time you come, he has to stay home. He can't come.
Oh my God.
It's too much. He does too much.
But for the same reasons that I mentioned earlier, just about freeing up that space and
Yeah.
telling the universe that you're ready and being open to receiving what God has in store for you
Yep.
is why I don't keep a bench now, and I don't believe that it's good energy to have one.
It's not good.
No,
I
it's
know
not.
it. I feel it.
Yeah.
I felt it.
Yeah.
I knew I messed up. I was like, fuck, why did I do that? I feel like
Just
I
in
had knocked
case you
myself 3
doubted.
steps back. I
No,
felt
no,
it. I was
no,
like,
it wasn't knocking back that far.
No,
But
not at all.
sometimes, just in case you doubted, here's a reminder.
he reminded me real quick.
Yeah.
It took
That's
but
a
a few
gift.
days, and I was like,
thank
oh,
you. Thank you,
shit.
sir.
And
Thank
you know
you,
what
sir.
else too? You know what else too? I realized that, like you said before, you get tested, and that was a test for you.
Yes.
Even though you opened the door, you didn't let him walk through it, so to speak.
Bah.
I hope so.
You feel what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying, though.
You know,
Why
that
you
could have
looked away,
gone
though?
farther.
I was
If you
looking
had
at
let
her.
it go farther.
I was looking away. I was looking at Natasha. I didn't. I never saw him.
Yeah,
I
if
never
you
saw
had
him.
let it go farther, then you would have had to go through
And
that
trust
all
me, he
over
was
again.
trying.
Yeah.
Trying.
He was
That's
thirsty.
another thing I realized, that you will go through the same thing over and over and over and over until you learn your lesson.
With the same face or different.
Exactly.
or different
It'll be the
one.
same.
Because I've
same
rotated the same.
situation.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
But then once you get that and you make a different choice, then that's when your life changes trajectory.
Quick
Did I say
question
that
for
right?
y'all. Going a little back to when you were saying about the bench.
Mm-hmm.
You guys had, you know, whenever it was in your life, you had your 20s or whatever, you had your bench for that B person, whatever.
Mm-hmm. B person.
You don't think
I'm with
that
it.
maybe the guy picked up on that and didn't want to bother to put that extra effort because you had the bench?
Yes. So that did happen to me once.
So he found out.
No.
Oh.
I was naively honest
Mm.
about the bench.
Mm.
And one guy that I dated told me, in so many words, how can I take you seriously if you have a breaking case of emergency penis waiting on the side?
Yeah, that is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what
pretty
it
much.
is.
And at
Pretty
the
much.
time,
It's true. That's exactly.
listen.
That's exactly.
At the time, I couldn't even fathom what
She
he
had her own
was
beat.
saying. I was like, well, why is he being so sensitive? In my 20s, that was my response. Now I've matured to the place where I can clearly understand where the man was coming from.
Right.
But back then, I couldn't even hear him. But he called me out.
Okay.
It has happened.
All right.
It has.
That is so funny.
Yeah. Breaking case of emergency. I used to call it that too.
I love it.
Close your ears, babe. Close your ears.
He was always wondering, damn, why am I BCP in the phone?
I was wondering what that meant.
Oh man.
Not like Gibbs. Not
Yeah.
like Gibbs.
I was just gonna
bump at
say.
the Gibbs.
I gotta wear that. I gotta wear that.
Forever.
You gotta get a T-shirt.
I told it happened. I told it.
We're gonna start selling merch
It
with
will
that.
live. It will live.
That's by far the funniest shit that ever happened to
It
me.
is. It's hilarious.
I don't even regret it because it's just it's one for the books.
A great
Yeah.
story to
It
tell,
is a
for
really
sure.
funny story. I'm not
my
even mad
God.
about it.
Can't even make
Yeah.
it up.
No.
Like, you
No.
can't even make it up.
No, no, I don't think that many women have a similar story, but that's a good one.
No.
Whatever.
Listen.
What?
Well, I guess we should move on to the next topic because this one over here keeps bringing up Ayesha Curry and what she
Seriously.
said.
He is like dying to get this topic on.
So if you don't know, apparently she was on the Red Table Talk and she mentioned that she felt a way about the fact that her husband, Steph Curry, gets so much female attention and she doesn't get any attention from men. And she kind of felt like insecure about that, I guess, or, she felt a way, she's a mother and whatever.
And she was clear, well, in what she said.
She gets zero male attention.
She said that it's not that she really would do anything with it, but she gets, you see, these men.
the male corner feels very strongly
They
about
have some
this.
strong opinions about this. I will say this. I think a lot of women can relate to what she had to say. I think whether or not women are willing to admit that getting attention from another man outside of their husband or boyfriend gives them a little jolt.
You're like, oh, I still got it.
Yes. I think men sometimes check to see if they still got it too.
Yo,
is it okay with
that's what I'm saying.
Neither of it is okay. None of it is okay. Okay, but
if
I
you're
think
actively going out there looking for it, I feel like that's when it's not okay.
But I think that she was having an honest moment. It wasn't in a safe space. She was being recorded for the world to see.
That was definitely sloppy.
That
That was a bad move with that one.
But you know what? Maybe she was feeling away because it's like, okay, my husband is very well known, but I also am very well known because I don't follow Steph Curry. I don't follow Ayesha Curry, but I know their names. So when it was brought up that this is what she said, I was like, oh, okay, I know who she is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So maybe she thought because he gets so much attention and he's known, why don't I get attention? Like, I feel like it's not
right. It's not right.
I feel like it's a self-esteem thing.
Nah.
It's a security
100%.
thing.
It is.
100%.
It has to be, because otherwise, like for me, like I do not care if a man says anything about me outside of my marriage, because I feel like my husband fills me. He tells me all the time,
Sure.
like, you're beautiful, you're a great woman. He gives me all that, the attention that I need.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I have to get
That's
it from
wonderful.
anywhere else.
That is wonderful.
So I don't know if that's the case with her, or if she was just trying to say, like, it would be nice to hear every now and then.
Well, let's also keep in mind that her husband is on the road.
Yes.
A lot.
Yes, getting
That's
a
a
lot
good
of attention
point.
from a
That's
lot of
a
groupies.
good point.
And she's not with him every day. You're with your husband
Every day.
Every day.
That's true.
And you're getting that validation.
That's true.
Every day from your man.
And if I wasn't, I know I would
She
feel the
may
same
be
way she
getting-
does.
A lot of validation from him when he's home,
Mm-hmm.
but he's not always home.
Yeah.
So that could be another way to look at it too, fellas.
But then also too, I feel like if you need that much
That's what I'm
validation,
saying.
Yeah.
then there's another issue there.
There
Yeah.
has to
That's
be
what I'm
some that
saying.
comes
You
from
should
within.
be able to validate yourself.
Absolutely.
But is she not
So-
getting any validation? Or
She
is it
said
not
zero
from
male
or is it not
attention.
from I don't know about
That
that.
sounds weird.
I think
It
she
does
did
sound
say
very weird,
outside of
though.
her husband. She did say outside of her husband.
She made it a point, and that's the problem right there. If
He's
you're married,
Yes.
if you're
He
married,
ain't here for it.
I'm not gonna be like, yeah, no chick is checking me out at work or wherever I'm at because whatever.
Yeah, but
'Cause
you
I'm
got
satisfied.
women all over you all
But
the time.
even if
Talk
it
about
wasn't
you
that,
smell good.
Oh.
How many
But-
work wives
like
do
your
you have,
beard.
babe?
I have none.
All
Good
right.
answer.
Yeah.
'Cause I was about to say.
You be getting all happy, like, yeah, this girl or whatever came up to me and was
Yeah.
like, I like your beard.
Oh, you see?
Who likes your beard?
And he mentions it to
He
you.
tells me every time.
Oh.
See, because I don't want her to roll up and work.
You don't want the smoke.
That's right.
He don't
See,
want no smoke.
See what I'm saying, yo? Yeah.
Babe is so happy to have another dude.
Oh my
God. With him.
This,
Hyped over there.
Yo. But I'm saying though, seriously though.
He's cheering.
Oh my
It's
God.
toasting. This is crazy.
Seriously though, you know, I think that if you're satisfied in the relationship you're in, you're not entertaining that.
I agree.
You don't notice it.
I agree.
Honestly, you don't.
And
even
that
notice
brings
it.
up another point.
I agree.
When you're happy in your relationship, you're not putting that vibe out there that you're available. And I feel like there's men out there that will respect that, and they're not going to come at you sideways. There's obviously some men out there that don't care, and they're just going to come at you, however.
Yeah.
But everybody knows that she's Steph Curry's wife, so they're not going to come at her like that and disrespect Steph.
Sure.
So I'm talking
now
like I know
the
these
problem
people.
is that they might now because they're like
they
yo,
will now. Not they
your
might.
girl
They
was talking
will.
reckless
Because she
about
They
it.
opened
will.
the
She
door.
did. She
Right,
did.
right.
But
Get the wrong attention, though.
let me say this also too. She no.
I don't think so. I don't
There's
think
another
so.
dimension to this,
I
but
don't
I'll
think
say it
so.
after Natasha's
So
point.
what I was gonna say also is that she's been with this man for 10 years and she just turned 30 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a
She's
young
been with
woman.
him since,
She's a mother of 3
Yes.
at 30 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, and our 20s. Can you? I mean, we messed up a lot of crap in our 20s. Okay, so. And also realized a lot too.
But we got a lot of life experience out of that.
and grew to validate ourselves and grew to give ourselves the esteem that we need and deal with whatever issues that we have. I mean, we're still dealing with a lot of it now, but I think it's much different now in our 30s than it was in our 20s. But she's still a very young woman and still has a lot of growing to do. And she probably hasn't had a lot of outside life experiences outside of her marriage.
And there's a whole nother dimension to this too, the motherhood part.
Yes.
She has 3 children. And I know what it's like when you have a child and afterwards you do not feel beautiful.
Yeah.
You do not feel sexy. You do not feel wanted. No matter how much your man or your husband tell you that you are.
Yeah.
You go through this phase. I don't know if I can't speak for everybody, but I know I went through a phase where I just did not feel beautiful at all.
I think all women go. I've heard.
Yeah.
I've never heard not one woman.
Yeah.
I can't even speak
You
right
get
now.
like ripped apart. Like
What is it called? That postpartum and all of that?
Postpartum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard majority women
Yeah.
pretty much go through that.
I think
Yeah.
she even references it in her latest Instagram post because she's on some stage somewhere throwing her Spanx in a bin, like getting rid of it.
Oh.
And she's talking about the fact that she's a mom of 3 and she chose to share something with the world and it's being now taken out of context is what she's saying. And also being made fun of.
I know.
But she's also saying, like, speak your truth.
Yes.
Speak your truth and live your best life.
Yeah.
And I think that was, even though it didn't sound the best,
It didn't come across.
and it wasn't in this neatly packaged
But you know what?
with a bow. It wasn't all of that, but
Should not that have been a conversation at home first?
But how do we know it wasn't? How do we know they haven't already had this conversation
and
that she
to
discussed?
put that out in the media like that, knowing how it may
I
affect
don't know
we
what
don't
the
know. We
conversation
don't
was
know.
beforehand, though. I don't know what led into that.
Yeah, me either.
That comment.
and so we
So I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's possible that
Probably
she
should
may
listen
have
to that.
spoken to him
We
about
need
it,
to
and she
listen
may
to it.
have
Yeah.
said, like, "Look, I might talk about this," and he was cool with it. He might have been like, "Hey, babe, speak your truth."
Right.
Say it. Maybe there's a lot of women out there that can relate to how you're feeling.
Sure.
We don't know.
That's true.
We literally are taking the text, the soundbite out of context. So I don't know.
We may be. We may not be.
Or we may not be.
Right. Right.
At the end of the day, though, I heard some men saying her man has given her 3 kids. Her man gave her a restaurant. Her man has given her this and that.
That's all monetary stuff. That's all
And,
possessions.
that is his wife. That is his life partner. While he works hard and he earns a great living as a basketball player, him giving her those things, I kind of feel like it diminishes her value in the situation. She has to be there to support him. She has to be there to raise these kids. She's doing it 50% of the time by herself. I'm sure they have hired help.
Yeah.
Let's not get it
She
twisted.
got a nanny.
A nanny or two, or maybe a nanny for each kid.
Yeah.
Who
Talking about
knows?
these celebrities.
Oh, here she goes.
No, I'm not saying anything.
Celebrity
She's like,
lives
you spent
don't
way too
matter.
much time talking about this woman.
It's been
But I
too
think
long
that
now.
it brings up a point that many people deal with that a lot of people are not willing to be forthcoming about because they don't want the backlash. They don't want to seem like they're ungrateful for their lives. I mean, the struggle is real out here to get a good man to put a ring on it. She got a man with a ring that don't look at, as far as we know, don't look at other women. We never hear things about him out here in these streets.
I don't trust it.
So it's like they're taking it as her being
Ungrateful.
ungrateful.
Yeah, you should see the memes. You should
Wow.
see the memes that are out there right now.
But that doesn't have anything to do with him, the way that she's
I think
feeling.
he backed her in a post.
Yeah.
I think.
Because it's not like she was saying, like, he doesn't give me any attention. She was just making the comparison between the two of them.
Yeah.
In the attention that they get. But it's like you said, like, why can't she just have an honest conversation about that? Like,
Yeah.
and not be ridiculed for it.
Right.
Mhm.
And maybe
Wrong
she's
place.
confusing those lonely feelings when he's not around
Yeah.
with that, you know? I mean, it's but
There's
it's a
so
life
many-
that they chose.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
That's,
Mhm.
She knew about it.
Yeah.
There's
wasn't
so
a
many
surprise.
assumptions that can be
Being
made,
a
but
wag is
ultimately
hard,
we don't
honey.
know.
Being a wag is hard.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately we don't know their lives. We just know what they,
Mhm.
choose to share with us.
Yes.
So.
They might have a big palace to go back to, but it is cold with no one in it.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck all that. Fuck all that. Shit. I'll hold that cold ass spot down in my jet jacuzzi tub. Get out of
In
here.
California, king
Tell with
size
everybody.
bed, and she's only
View of the
occupying
mountains.
like
Kiss
that
my shit.
empathy,
Oh,
Melissa.
man.
Empathy.
I don't have it. I ain't got it. I don't have it.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's
But I find it interesting
Shit.
that a woman who seems to have everything can still have those feelings of self-doubt or lack of self-esteem.
Yeah, yeah.
in
money
some way.
doesn't cure everything.
Yeah.
I don't care
That's
a lot
for
of my
sure.
shit, but
Word different. It'll make life a lot
won't have
easier.
you know what I'm saying? Fuck.
Throw me a little bit, you
Hit
know.
me
You
in the
know,
face with it.
a fraction, a
Let me help.
percentage, 1%. 1%.
That's funny. You got anything to say about that, Dwayne? Since you was bringing
No.
Ayesha Curry up this whole time.
I mean,
what you think?
seriously.
Steph Curry, if you listening, your days are numbered, my man.
Oh,
stop.
God.
Why is his
Stop
days? No, his
it.
days ain't number.
I
She
don't know
loves
why
him.
you
So you
offer
think-
him.
So
I'm
you
like,
think she's gonna cheat on him for real?
Absolutely.
No, you know what?
I don't think
You know
so.
what?
I don't think so.
My honey.
I won't put it past her, but I don't think so.
I think that
don't put it
he's
past anybody.
a little jaded based on what he just went through. And that's a conversation
Oh.
for another day and time. And
Yikes.
it's not shots fired. I think that your experiences...
That's a long car ride is what that is.
We got a seat on the couch when you ready.
We got an extra chair right
We
next
got a
to
chair
me.
when you ready for that one.
Mm.
Yikes.
Yeah, so... we all have a story.
That's true.
We definitely all
Steph
do.
Curry, yo, thanks for joining the Common Woman podcast. Days are numbered, Steph.
Oh,
Days are numbered.
God.
We don't back him at all. We don't know this man very well.
No.
No, because
Yeah.
you're my sponsor.
We
Hold up.
need one of
Hold
the
up.
disclaimers, the thoughts and views
I was
shared
just gonna say that.
in this
Are not
podcast.
representative of the Common Woman podcast.
Oh boy,
Oh God.
these rich folks and their problems.
Yeah, we all got them. We all got them. I guess they just get
Yes.
magnified in
Just
front of the
different
public eye.
Just different levels.
There
Yeah,
is.
yeah. So how would you feel, honey, if I would, if I was sitting here on the mic like, well, my husband gets all this attention from all the
her voice
nurses
was like
he
that
worked-
too.
Yeah, that's
Her
exactly.
voice
Yeah,
was like that too.
just
Okay,
like
that's
that.
how you heard it. I'm like, wait, why is she doing it like that?
But I don't get any attention. Like, what?
I'd be like,
to Valley
so
Girlfriend.
my attention is not enough for you? My man, this is not enough?
Do you think Steph felt that way?
What?
Yes, he did.
Come on, man. When
Honestly,
she got home, if he was home,
maybe he needed to feel that for a moment.
That should have been on the side.
So you
not
think
in public.
that was like a sideways,
no,
like?
you don't
I don't
do
think that
Pay
she
attention to me,
intended
babe.
for it to be that
I don't
way,
think
but
so either.
sometimes
she knew what she was
The
doing.
truth comes out.
I don't
sometimes
think
men
so.
need that little wake up call. I'm just
So
saying.
question. Steph is a rich guy making all this money in the world, and she don't feel happy, satisfied with her man.
What does money
Yeah, but
have
that
to
doesn't
do
have
with
to
that?
do with it.
What
Like
does money have
we
to do
need,
with
we're women. We're emotional
Yeah.
creatures. We need the relationship. We need the
Yes.
connection.
See, but on that same
We need the
token,
quality time.
Yes.
I know what you're gonna say.
on that same token, if you guys value all that and you think about that, about how you want to be treated and felt and talked to and addressed or whatever, which is not bad. I'm not saying it is. Why is that considerations not there for him when she went out there in public and talked about all of that? Remember,
But we're making a big assumption.
we are, but I'm just playing devil's advocate. You know, you guys are saying, oh, but what about her and how she feels and she's alone in this big house?
So you think that was a violation of their marriage?
I think so. I don't think it should be something that should be out there.
I think we need to hear the whole interview because I don't even know what the question was beforehand.
Right.
Right.
Jada gets everybody in their feelings.
That's true. Because Jada could have been
So,
like,
yeah.
how
That
do you
c-
feel about the fact that he?
Yeah, like so I feel like we need
And
a
I
little
think
more
another point too
background.
is that since we're not in their relationship,
Right.
there are certain things that you guys as a married couple hold sacred and neither of you will do or step outside of. We don't know what kind of agreements
True.
That's
they
true too.
have.
That's true too.
you know, maybe he allows her the freedom to speak her truth, whatever that is, even if the public may not fully understand it.
Right.
Gotcha.
And maybe that was a cosign that he gave on that. Who knows? I don't think that you would step into or have a seat at that table if you weren't willing to be open and honest
yeah,
That's very
and put it
true.
put it all out there.
That's very true.
So
Yeah.
we don't know.
Yeah, true,
That's true.
We're all speculating, but it's
Well.
fun to speculate.
It is fun to speculate. It is.
It's fun.
It is fun.
Your days are numbered, Steph.
He's stupid.
He's not going anywhere. Hush up.
And neither is she. I highly doubt it.
Nah. With those beautiful babies they got.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
what you think
About what?
about the podcast?
Are we wrapping
Is
this
it
up?
affirmation time? Is it affirmation time?
Well, say affirmation. I was like, what? What do I think about what?
Your-
I don't get it.
Your part in the last few podcasts?
No, but she
The
usually says
one
it's
thing you
affirmation
do?
time, not just what do you think? Like what? What about? I said I don't care about them. No.
See, communication. You gotta communicate.
Communication. You heard that? Oh, all
Yo,
right.
she's throwing so many subs your way. Number 2.
You're going to have to watch this later on.
Yeah,
Looking
so
like a
have to
champ.
listen back to it.
Write some stuff down.
One eye open.
What?
Oh, honey.
With your back to the wall, homie?
I'm so over you.
I'm so glad you were here for this, Dwayne.
I hope we got some good audio despite his outbursts.
I
We got it. We got it.
All right, all
It's in
right.
there,
It's all
in
the way
there.
here.
Anyway, ideal. All right,
Affirmation time.
Affirmation
I love this
time.
part of the podcast.
Okay, so
Me
the
too.
affirmation we have for this week: I now choose to release all hurt and resentment.
I now choose to release all hurt and resentment.
Yes.
Don't
I think-
carry that around.
And I think that it's appropriate based on the subject matter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even if you've been in that relationship that was not going anywhere. And I sometimes beat myself up for staying in it for a little bit too long. But that's a part of releasing
It is.
Mhm.
that hurt and that resentment. So I'm
It's very true.
constantly working on it.
Very true, Natasha. Thank you for sharing your
Yes.
story. And thank you so much for being here.
Yes,
it was
thank
a
you guys
pleasure
for having
talking
me.
with you.
This was so
We
much
loved
fun.
having you.
Yes.
Yes, it was.
She'll be back.
Oh yeah, you definitely gonna be
Yes.
back.
Yes,
Definitely
yes,
gonna be back.
yes.
I know that you helped a lot of people today.
Well, let's see.
And thanks to Dwayne for also being here on the sideline.
Yes, cheerleader.
Yes. But that's a wrap for episode 6. Thanks for being with us. 6. Please remember to like and follow all of our platforms and pages. Subscribe.
Yes.
We'll see you next time on the Common Woman Podcast.
Bye.
Bye.